The question is that the motion be agreed to. James Shaw.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, I disagree with that. I would like to say that the Director of the Department of Conservation the other day said that we believe our nature will thrive when all New Zealanders engage their hearts, minds and hands to conserve the natural environment. And I think that it would be great if the Minister for Conservation actually took that advice. Because we have a spectacle at the moment, Mr Speaker, of a government that on one hand says that it is committed to conservation, that it is committed to protecting the kiwi, that it has a strategy in place that it launched this morning for our threatened species, and at the same time wants to open up a portion of conservation land to coal mining. And I have to say, Mr Speaker, I am utterly flabbergasted because it is completely inconsistent on the one hand to say that you are committed to conservation, to even be a minister for conservation and to even consider the notion of coal mining on conservation estate at the same time is utterly absurd. Mr Speaker, the Department of Conservation looks after a third of New Zealand's landmass on 0.5% of the government's budget. I'll just say that again. The Department of Conservation looks after a third of New Zealand's landmass on 0.5% of its budget. It is right up against the wall. In real terms, its budget has been cut considerably over the course of the lifetime of this national-led government. And now you have the spectacle of a Minister of Conservation attempting to defend the notion of coal mining on conservation land. There is no way that you can have a Kiwi protection plan on the one hand and to say that you're going to be coal mining in Kiwi habitat on the other. There is no way to say that you're going to have a threatened species strategy on one hand and to put a coal mine into Kiwi habitat on the other hand. Not only that, the Department of Conservation itself, I'm going to read this out from their website, Mr Speaker. The Department of Conservation itself says that climate change poses a significant risk to New Zealand's native species and ecosystems. In other words, the very thing that the Department of Conservation is there to protect, climate change represents a significant risk to that. And what we know is that if the world burns its existing coal reserves that it knows about, then there is simply no way that we're going to be able to keep global warming to under 2 degrees, Mr Speaker. In fact, 82% of the existing coal reserves on this planet cannot be burned if you're to have any hope of keeping global warming to under 2 degrees. So the idea of having a coal mine on conservation land, digging up coal to be burned, and at the same time saying that you've got any hope at all of trying to keep New Zealand's greenhouse gas emissions down and keeping global warming to under 2 degrees is completely inconsistent. Now today, the Associate Minister said that there was a $22 million compensation package from a coal mining company to the Department of Conservation. Well, compensation for what? What is a compensation package for? It is compensating for damaging the environment, which in this case is a Kiwi habitat, right? So the very nature of this payoff demonstrates that we know that the coal mine is damaging the local environment down there. What's it compensating for? It's compensating for degrading the local environment, which is a Kiwi habitat, and that raises the question, how can you possibly, as a government, on one hand say that you're committed to protecting Kiwi and on the other hand take 30 pieces of silver in return from a coal mining company that we know is going to damage the environment in which those Kiwi live? It is an utterly absurd proposition, Mr Speaker. The idea that you can have a coal mine in a Kiwi habitat and maintain any semblance of a commitment to the environment as a government is completely absurd. And I think that none of this conserves the New Zealand environment, Mr Speaker. If you are going to have a government that is truly committed to protecting New Zealand's natural environment, you need to change the government, and change is coming.
The Honourable Paul Goldsmith.
Mr. Speaker.